I didn't see it coming. Not during the makeup. Not while walking down the aisle. Not even while the guests screamed and clapped and danced around us. I didn't see it. But that night, my wedding night, the man I married dropped a secret that shook the ground beneath me. And just like that, my fairy tale wedding turned into a horror film. The day started beautifully. Bright Lagos skies, soft breeze, perfect temperature. No traffic. No breakdowns. Even the usual mainland to island madness behaved for once. I arrived at the church in a pearl white mermaid dress, designed and delivered from Istanbul. The car that dropped me off was a Rolls Royce. My makeup was flawless. My smile was genuine. And beside the altar, David, tall, polished, collected, waited like a dream I had prayed into reality. The wedding was the kind they talk about for weeks. Champagne glasses clinked non-stop. Guests took pictures like they were at the Grammys. The wedding planner outdid herself. We trended on social media before we even cut the cake. Hashtag David and Vanessa 2024. I danced. I posed. I laughed. If someone had pulled me aside and said, "Vanessa, don't do it," I would have told them to mind their business. Everything looked perfect. But the devil doesn't always show up with horns. Sometimes, he shows up in a tuxedo and calls you my love. That night, we checked into the penthouse suite at the George Hotel in Ikoyi. The room was a luxury dream, flowers everywhere, mood lighting, slow jazz playing in the background. I was still in my dress, still floating on the high of the day. I sat in front of the mirror, pulling out hairpins one by one, smiling to myself. And then I noticed something. David was quiet. Not the calm, romantic quiet. No. This one was heavy. The kind of silence that has a weight to it. He sat on the edge of the bed, staring at the floor like someone who just lost a bet. "Are you okay?" I asked. He looked up. I'll never forget that look. His face was pale. His mouth moved slowly, like he was dragging the words out from his throat. Then he said it. "Vanessa, there's something I need to tell you." I paused, hand frozen halfway through unzipping my dress. "What is it?" He rubbed his palms together. Took a breath. "I can't father a child." I stood still. The air in the room stopped moving. I waited for him to say more. Maybe to laugh. To say it was a joke. But no punchline came. "What do you mean?" I asked, voice low. "I mean I've known since university. I did some tests after I fell sick. 0 sperm count. Permanent. They said nothing can be done." I don't remember sitting down. One moment I was standing, the next I was on the floor. Dress puffed around me like smoke. "You're sterile." I asked again, still hoping I'd heard wrong. "Yes." I laughed. It wasn't the soft kind. It was the type that sounds like it's crawling out of your chest. "You knew all along. And you said nothing. You stood beside me at the altar and said I do with this on your chest." He stood up. Tried to come closer. I raised my hand and stepped back. "No. Don't touch me. Answer me." He looked down. Shame covered him like a second skin. "I was scared to lose you." I scoffed. "So you chose to lie? To trap me?" "I was going to tell you after the wedding. I just wanted to get through today." Get through today. This was never about me. This was about him looking good, him ticking boxes, him getting applause for bagging a woman like me. I wanted to scream, to tear the dress off my body. But instead, I asked a question that chilled me to my bones. "Did your mother know?" He didn't say yes. He didn't say no. He just looked away. And that was enough. His mother, the same woman who helped me tie my veil, the same woman who called me daughter in front of my parents. She knew. And she said nothing. She danced on our wedding day with her gaily touching heaven, knowing I was walking into fire. I walked into the bathroom, locked the door, and slid down against the wall. That was where the tears came, heavy, sharp, hot. I cried for every plan I'd made. For the twins I used to dream about. For the names I had already written in my journal. I cried for the betrayal. For the shame. For the fact that I would now become a woman with a ring and a lie. I didn't sleep that night. David kept apologizing. Kept begging. He said we could try IVF. Adoption. Miracles. But none of that mattered. What mattered was the fact that the man I married had no intention of telling me the truth. I wasn't his partner. I was his audience. He performed love. He staged commitment. He choreographed a wedding. And when the curtains closed, he showed me who he truly was. At dawn, I opened the hotel room curtain. The sky was dark. The road was still. But inside me, something had already changed. I wasn't sure what I would do yet. But I knew this, I would not remain silent. Because a lie like this, it doesn't fade. It festered. Morning came, but I didn't rise with it. I stayed in bed with my back to David, my wedding dress thrown across the couch like a body without breath. My eyes burned from all the crying. I hadn't said a word to him since that confession. He was up early, pacing the room. I heard his phone buzz. He picked it up and stepped into the bathroom. A few seconds later, I heard him arguing. Not loudly. But sharp. Urgent. I walked to the door and listened. No, Mom, she knows already. I told her last night. She didn't say anything. She just cried. I don't even know if she's staying. Well, what was I supposed to do? Tell her before the wedding and risk everything collapsing. I stepped back. So his mother was in on it. She was part of it. I thought of the look she gave me the day before. The way she adjusted my veil and called me my daughter. Fake. Every single gesture, fake. I didn't wait for breakfast. I picked up my bag, still packed from the hotel stay, changed into a simple dress, tied my scarf, and walked out of that room like I was walking away from fire. When I got home, my mother met me at the gate. Her face lit up until she saw mine. Vanessa, what's wrong? Where's David? I thought you'd both be on your honeymoon today. I didn't know how to speak. So I didn't. I just walked past her into the house, went straight to my room, and locked the door. Later that evening, she came in. Sat by my bed, holding my hand. I don't know what's wrong, but I know my daughter. And I can see something deep is broken. I looked her dead in the eye. David can't have children. He's known for years. He never said anything. He told me on our wedding night. My mother gasped so loud, she dropped her shawl. What do you mean? He's sterile. Yes. And his mother knew. She put a hand over her mouth. Her eyes watered. You mean all this while we were planning, sitting together, choosing colors, buying osoebi, they were hiding this? I nodded. And I feel like a clown. A fool in a white dress. My mother stood up, shaking her head. I'm calling your father. By nightfall, both families were seated in our living room. David and his mother arrived first. He tried to hold my hand. I shifted away. His mother, elegant and unbothered as ever, sat like she was at an art gallery, legs crossed, hands folded. My father wasted no time. David, he began, voice firm. Did you or did you not know that you cannot father children before you married my daughter? David's mouth twitched. Yes, sir. I knew. And you hid it. He looked down. I wanted to tell her, but I didn't want to lose her. I thought we'd figure something out. My father turned to David's mother. And you, madam? She adjusted her wrapper. No remorse. Just pride. I advised him to be honest. But he is a grown man. I wasn't the one marrying her. I laughed bitterly. So you smiled in my face. You hugged me. Danced with me. And all the while, you were helping your son lie to me. He shrugged. It's not the end of the world, my dear. You can still live a full life. There are other ways to have children. My mother stood up. Are you insane? You don't deceive someone into marriage and then preach options. This is betrayal. This is wickedness. David tried to speak. I raised my voice. Don't say a word. Everyone turned to look at me. I'm tired of people managing me like I'm too stupid to notice lies. My name is Vanessa. Not a prop. Not a trophy. Not a womb to be used and discarded. I turned to David. You looked me in the face. Repeated vows. Promised me a future you had already destroyed. You didn't love me. You just needed me to cover up your shame. David stood, eyes wet. I swear I love you. I panicked. I didn't know how to handle it. You handle it by telling the truth, I snapped. But you chose performance. Now live with the consequences. The room was silent. Even his mother didn't have a comeback. I looked at my parents. I want this annulled. I don't want to be tied to a lie for the rest of my life. My father nodded. Then we'll do it properly. David sat down, head in his hands. It was over. He knew it. That night, I lay on my bed staring at the ceiling, feeling every kind of emotion crash over me. I wasn't angry that David couldn't have children. I was angry that he didn't tell me. That he let me dream of babies, of cribs, of matching outfits, all while knowing none of it could come true. I didn't waste time. By Monday morning, I was sitting across from a lawyer at a quiet office in Lekki Phase 1. Her name was Miss Clara Mbadiou, no nonsense, no makeup, and the kind of woman who looked like she'd sued half of Lagos already. I told her everything. Every single thing from the wedding night. She didn't blink. She just nodded, opened a file, and said, "This is not just grounds for annulment. It's betrayal with intent. We'll file immediately." I exhaled, for the first time in days. I wasn't just walking away from David. I was walking away from the performance. The lies. The expectation that I would keep quiet because I was now someone's wife. 2 days later, the news hit social media. It started small, just one gossip blog. Then a bigger one. Then my inbox flooded with questions, sympathy, and some insults. She's too impatient. She should have stayed and adopted. Is that why she's ending a marriage? But I didn't reply to any of them. I wasn't explaining my pain to people who only logged into gossip. I had made my decision. And it was final. David tried to call. I blocked him. His mother sent her pastor to my house. My mother told him gently but clearly, "We are not interested in prophecy after damage." A week later, I sat down in front of my phone camera. No glam. No filters. Just me. I recorded a video, not for pity, not for likes, but because I needed to speak my truth in my own voice. To every woman out there who's been lied to in the name of love, this is for you. I was married under false pretenses. I was handed a dream soaked in deception. I said I do to a man who had already decided I didn't deserve the truth. But here's what I've learned: silence doesn't protect peace. It protects lies. And no matter how beautiful the dress, the venue, the photos, if the foundation is a lie, the building will fall. I'm not ashamed. I walked away before the lie became a life sentence. And if you're watching this, and you're stuck in a relationship that's built on secrets, I hope this gives you the strength to live. I posted it and went to bed. By morning, it had gone viral. Over 400,000 views. Comments from women across the country. Stories from others who had been betrayed, some worse than mine. I wasn't the only one. I was just the one who chose to speak. The annulment was finalized in less than 2 months. No drama. No contest. David didn't even show up in court. His lawyer stood in for him and signed the papers. That was how my marriage ended, not in a fight, not in a scream, but in silence, the same silence it was built on. I went back to my maiden name. Rebranded my social media. Took a break from events. Took a break from men. Took a break from everything. I started writing again. I started volunteering. I even started mentoring young women in the city. My pain had given me a voice louder than I ever imagined. One Friday night, I was invited to speak at a women's leadership conference in Victoria Island. I stood on that stage in front of almost 700 people. Bright lights, high heels, loud applause. But the only thing I felt was peace. And I said this: don't ever apologize for walking away from a lie. Marriage is not a prize for silence. If a man cannot trust you with the truth, he does not deserve to hold your hand at the altar. And to the women still sitting in homes built on secrets, I'm not here to judge. I'm just here to tell you that you can live. You can heal. And you can still be whole. They gave me a standing ovation. But I didn't cry. Because I had already shed my tears in the hotel bathroom. Now I was laughing again.